Another tool that is extremely common in data analysis is Microsoft Excel. It shouldn't be a surprise that there are a lot of packages out there that interact with Excel so that you can work with the data inside R. In this chapter, we'll cover everything you need to know to get started with Excel files in R with practically no extra work. In this video, I'll be talking about Hadley Wickham's readxl package. Before we dive into the R side of things, it's a good idea to quickly wrap up on what an Excel file typically is. For most data-related tasks, an Excel file contains different sheets that contain tabular data. Take this Excel file for example, city.xlsx, that contains two sheets containing data of the total population of some capitals for 2 different years. When you're working in R, you'll typically want to explore your Excel file first and then import some data from it. But how do you go about this? This is where the readxl package comes in. It basically contains two functions, Excel sheets and readxl. The first one is used to list the different sheets in your Excel file, while the second one is used to actually import a sheet into your R session. readxl is able to handle both XLS and XLSX files. So let's try it out. Let's first install and load the readxl package and then start with the Excel sheets function. You simply pass it a file path, which is the location of the XLSX file on your own system. The file is already in our working directory, as dir reveals, so we can simply use the following call. Result is a simple character vector that contains the names of the different sheets. Indeed, you saw before that the two sheets in the Excel file are named year 1990 and year 2000. Great. We already know about the sheet names now, but that's just the names, not the actual population data. Fortunately, readxl features the readxl function to actually import the sheet data into your R session. In its most basic use, you simply specify the path to the Excel file again. By default, the first sheet, year 1990, is imported as a tibble. You can also explicitly tell readxl which sheet to import by setting the sheet argument. You can use both an index or the sheet name. Suppose you want to load in the second sheet, named year 2000. The following two calls both do that. In all of these readxl calls, an R data frame results that contains the Excel data. You can start your analysis right away. Give it a first try in the exercises. In the next video, I'll dive a little deeper into the readxl function. Next to the path and sheet argument that we've discussed in the previous video, there are also other arguments you can specify in the readxl function. Have a look at its documentation. Can you tell the meaning of these arguments? Path and sheets have no more secrets for you. Then there's column names, which can be three things. True, the default, which means that the first row of the Excel sheet contains the column names. It can also be false, in which case R comes up with its own names. Finally, you can also set it to a character vector specifying the column names. Excel can contain different data types, such as text, numerics, and dates. How this converts to R classes is controlled in the callTypes argument. By default, it is null, which lets R guess the data types of the different columns. But you can also manually specify the call types. Suppose you want to import all the columns of the first sheet as text. This command will do the trick. The column classes we can see in the printout reveal that indeed the pop data variable contains two columns that are both character now. Perfect. Other keywords to enforce the type are numeric, date, and blank. Numeric and date are straightforward, but what about blank? Well, if you use blank, you're simply ignoring that column. If you adapt the previous call like this, you'll see that the population column is missing. This blank keyword can come in handy when you have an Excel file with a lot of columns and you only need some of them in R. Next, there's a skip argument. It specifies the number of rows in your Excel sheet R has to skip before actually importing the data. Let's say the first two rows in the first sheet of cities.xlsx are not necessary for our analysis. To ignore them, we can simply set the skip argument to 2 and readxl will not import these lines. We'll also have to set the column names argument, because the first row with the column names is skipped as well. If we try out this code, indeed 2 rows were skipped, the row containing the column names and the first observation. That leaves us with the last 3 observations. In readr, there was also the nmax argument to specify the number of records to read. Currently, this functionality is not available in readxl, but this might be added in the future. The package is still under development as we speak. Actually, the Excel sheets and readxl functions are the only functions that are available in the readxl package. These 2 functions and the customization possibilities are all you need to get started with your Excel data in R. On top of all that, readxl is extremely fast. You might have recognized many of the arguments of the readr package of the previous chapter. Hadley Wickham made reading data from different data sources pretty consistent. This can only make your job of importing data easier, right? Get some practice with it in the exercises. Before, I introduced the readxl package, which is a very efficient package to import data from Excel to R. But there are of course alternatives to readxl. In this video, I'll be discussing one of those alternatives, the gdata package, currently maintained by Gregory Warnes. Actually, the gdata package is an entire suite of tools for performing data manipulation in all sorts of fields. It kind of supercharges your basic R distribution to make handling your data less painful. Among these tools, there's also a function that allows you to import Excel data, read.xls. Out of the box, gdata can only handle the XLS format, but you can easily install a driver to support the newer XLSX format as well. There's no function to list the different sheets in an Excel file, like Excel sheets in readxl. To import data from Excel, gdata uses Perl, another interpreted programming language. The Perl code converts the data in the Excel sheet to a CSV file. Next, the CSV file is read into R using the default read.csv function from the utils package. Read.csv itself is a wrapper around read.table, remember? This function can be customized in millions of ways. There are more than 15 arguments you can specify. All these read.table arguments are also available for gdata's read.xls function. In this respect, read.xls is an extension of the data input functions from the utils package to Excel files. This makes it easy to use for people who are familiar with the import functions of the utils package and their arguments. On the other hand, first converting an entire XLS file to a CSV file, to next import it into R with the slow read.csv function is extremely inefficient. What if you're dealing with huge Excel files? You'd have to convert the entire file and then read it. That's quite some extra work you're doing. Wickham's readxl package is way faster here. So why use gdata in the first place then? Well, we believe that readxl will become the standard package to import Excel data. However, as we speak, the readxl package is still under development. The version we're working with is pre-v1. If you don't want to rely on packages that are still under heavy development and whose syntax can still change, you can stick to more established packages like gdata. Now let's get practical. Still remember the cities.xlsx file? Here it is as an XLS file this time, cities.xls. 2 sheets containing the population of some capitals in 1990 and 2000. Let's first install and load gdata, and then try gdata's read.xls function to import the Excel data. As before, the first argument you pass it is the path to the file. In our case, cities.xls is still in your working directory. If your Excel file contains multiple sheets, only the first sheet is imported. You can again choose to specify a different sheet by sheet number or by sheet name, like this example. Basically, that's all there is to it. Head over to the exercises to get to know the gdata package yourself.